Well, hello there, wrestling card collectors, wrestling collectors, memorabilia collectors, whatever the hell you collect. Here we are. God, it's been a long time, right, Paul?
Seems like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we're back here with the wonderful three count show. I think we're doing these quarterly now. So for those who forgot who we are, we have Mr. Paul and Anand from the Price Guide. I'm Tony Vela from WTC.
And you got
It feels like
the black and white NWO on the go today, huh?
yes, I'm
I,
back,
I I
black and white,
expect
baby.
strobe. I want some strobe lights and some movements and shit. I'm like, you're in black and white. He goes, yeah, NWO. I'm like, okay.
That's right. But just playing around with the filters, like it's been a long time. So I actually had to re-download Zoom in order to do this. It took a little bit to get all the updates done, and I wasn't even sure with my problem with my computer if I can actually even run a camera on anymore. It just seems to get slower and slower and slower.
Well, you're on the
So,
same. How long have you had this notebook now? Several years, right? It's the same last year.
well, no, I've had this notebook even before this. Notebook's got to be at least 10 years old.
Yeah, yeah. You see.
So it's just been around for a while, and it's due for an upgrade, which I hope to get here shortly.
I
So
use my notebook when I come upstairs. When we're doing other shows, I just leave this downstairs. But this is my recording studio, and since I don't record that much anymore, it doesn't get used a lot, which is great. This is a Microsoft Surface, so it's like a good quality notebook. But I'm up here in front of my computer here for work all the time. I very rarely use the notebook just for this, just because it has the camera on it here, and I've got the zoom on it.
yeah, this I used to at home. If I had this back at home, I'd probably be doing more episodes. Maybe not strictly video, which you and I can talk about this off the air here, so like that, because I have some ideas. But uh, uh, since I moved it to the store and I handle everything inventory, all my email correspondences go through this laptop here at the store. Once I leave the store,
That's
I
it.
have nothing. I have nothing. I don't have any access to doing
You know
anything
what?
at
That's good.
home.
That's kind of good though, because when you leave the store, the wrestling world, wrestling cards, all that stuff should be in the store, and then you go home to your wife and your kids, and
Yeah,
you have a young boy now that needs your attention. This time's only been
yeah,
once, and the time you spend with him is way more important than all this stuff here. Um,
100%. But when
and
I'm at home,
I
I feel
love
like,
it when you do your in stores and Anthony's there and you see him
oh
meeting the
yeah,
wrestlers and you see like these are all memories that one day when he's main eventing WrestleMania 60, we can
yeah.
point back and say that, remember when.
Yeah, my wife suggested that we have he takes pictures with the talent now by himself, not just as a family, but by himself.
Oh, yeah,
And we
there you go.
started that with an independent girl who came in here, Brittany Brooks. She was the first person that he took a picture with just by himself. And he was
Wow.
all about that. Like, ooh, cute little blonde girl. Yeah, I'll take a picture with
Well, I
her.
wonder where he gets that from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
Jenna Tony's wife is blonde, by the way.
yes. And so, he's been taking pictures now and he enjoys it. And I think you're right. When he gets older, he'll start to, wow, look at all the people I met when I was a little kid. I had no
Yeah,
idea who I was
that's
around,
awesome. Like, like I started young, but he started really, really young. And the other
Yeah,
big news, since we're on the topic of Anthony Vella, is he's now a trading card collector, not wrestling.
he
Is it
is.
Pokemon or is it Yu-Gi-Oh?
No,
Which
he's
one of
he's
these?
into Pokemon cards now. He just
Well,
one day
He's smarter than us insofar as
he,
picking which genre to get into.
well, yeah, I don't even know how it started. My wife told me he just picked up some cards, and just all of a sudden she's like, "You're not going to believe it. He's turned into you. He's now taking the cards and he's organizing them in a little tin box."
That's where it
So
starts.
I gave him a binder with 9 pocket sheets, and he is obsessed now. He's obsessed. So I will every once in a while I run to Target. I'll pick up a pack of cards from him and give him and we all have to sit around him while he opens them, and he knows how to open the pack so he doesn't damage the cards. And he's like, "Oh, the shiny ones, they go in a sleeve. The non-shiny ones don't go."
So he
He's
gets it.
just
Oh,
he
these
gets
are
it.
first signs. Well, one day he's going to inherit a wrestling card empire, right?
He's yeah,
So at that point, it's good that he's getting the strokes in early.
yeah. So he's it's a lot of fun, but the downside for me is I have to learn Pokemon stuff now.
Yeah. Well, did you know,
But
by the way, before we start, we're here to talk about wrestling cards in the
yeah,
community. One
of
thing,
course.
just because you mentioned, do you know there's another Loomis guy out there? Yeah, I can't recall his name, but someone texted me and said that I've got a whole bunch of Loomises, and now that he's in the Bray, or sorry, the Bo Dallas group,
The white six.
Wyatt Sixes, yeah, that he's a part of that. That's just opened up, and I think I mentioned that to you as well. But
Hmm.
do you know the guy
Nope.
yeah, I'm going to send you
Nope.
that. There's another Loomis guy out there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do
I'm
that.
I'm sure I have a few cards that he's been looking for because
Well, he
I'm the
might
only
have.
one who's got them.
Well, I think he reached out to say I've got some if anybody's interested, and I was busy at the time, so I didn't
Yeah,
forward it to you, but I'll do that.
yeah. Connect me. I'm happy to do it. So,
Yeah. Well, we know that there's a bunch of Becky guys out there. There's a bunch of tons of Hogan guys and Sting guys and stuff.
sure.
But you would expect that that Loomis is not that fertile territory, but it is. I guess everyone collects
Well,
everything.
everybody collects something, man. So, with that said, let's just go right ahead and get right
Yeah. So
into
we're here for
boom.
the
Now
three
I'm back
count.
in color. So I
Yeah.
made
There.
my
Oh, there
entrance.
you are.
We're
Yeah.
back
The
in
two
color
tricks,
now,
the
folks.
purple.
So
Perfect.
we're
Yeah,
here for the three count show.
it's like Wizard of Oz, when
Yeah.
Dorothy sort of gets into Oz, it all goes to color. Well, now we're about to talk about wrestling cards for the first time in 3 months. So here we
Yeah.
are back in color. So just a quick overview. We're going to be talking about some new releases. Then we're going to be looking at our top sales of the last 3 months. Then we're going to get into something that you and I sort of loosely got into a little text thread a week or two ago when we started talking about what is a wrestling card, and we should maybe have that discussion yet again about what our sites are going to include and not include, and kind of
Yep.
drawing lines. And you said this would be the discussion. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to prepare a bunch of things, and we're going to have a little quiz. I'm going to quiz you. I'm going to say, is this a wrestling card? Is this a collectible? And we'll try and put some edges on it, for our audience. A
I'm going
little
to
bit
get
talk
angry. I
about,
can tell. I'm going to get real angry, but go ahead.
well, not to me. We already don't agree.
Yeah.
Not so much that we don't agree, but that it's a gray area between what should be on our sites and what shouldn't. And I might have some things that WTC has, and you might have other things that Price Guide doesn't have, like thumb wrestlers or what have you.
Mhm.
Um, and it's funny that we're having this conversation now, not 4 years ago when we for whatever
Yeah.
3 years ago when we first sat down to say, okay, let's define what it is we're talking about.
Well,
But
because about 4 years ago, people weren't trying to find things to create
correct.
a hype around.
Yeah. People weren't going to go and find a rock sticker and call it
Yeah,
NFT and then put it to market and then make a lot of money and change things. So
correct. So,
we'll get into it. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the National, which by the time this airs will only be 2 or 3 weeks away. So we're hoping that you can join us in Cleveland. So new releases. Ready to go?
yeah, I'm ready to go, man.
Okay, so what we're talking about now, guys, is January, March, April, May, June of 2024, second quarter, and we're just almost at the beginning of July. Happy July 4th, by the way, and Canada Day on Monday, July 1. So we're going into a long weekend. So hopefully this will be edited and you guys will have this for your holidays when you have no excuse but to watch it many times over.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're going to do new releases on the quarter. First one, obviously, is Panini Chronicles. That came out when we did our last show. Impeccable was out, and it had been
Hmm.
out for about a month. Then Chronicles came out. Um, because of the delay in last year when everything stopped because of the lawsuit, everything kind of came to a crashing halt. And then once things started again, they started coming very rapidly. So you're
Hmm.
seeing these major releases coming bang, 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 bang. We're going from Impeccable to Chronicles to
Immaculate.
all within the same quarter essentially. And if you're a guy like me that collects it all, not good, you know.
Yeah.
But Impeccable, Chuck and I managed to get that one done, and we just posted it. I did get the 400 Chronicles set, but I'll tell you what I like
Mhm.
about it, Tony, is that you recall last year on the Chronicles, the first 300 were fairly easy to get, but then the 300 to 400 included the National Treasures, included the ones, and a few other of the really rare
Mhm.
subsets. Now, in any other normal set, these would just be insert sets. These would just be insert cards and would be considered base. But what they did that I liked this time around was that they separated National Treasures out. So the 400 cards in the Chronicles base set are, they're different tiers, if you will, or
Sure.
different sets of inserts, but they're not really hard to find. There's the rookie set in this new Chronicles. They're the rarest ones. I think they're numbered to 8, and they've been going like at the low end about 150 to 2, all the way up to 700-800 bucks a piece. Although people have pointed out to me some of those have been shilled and not been paid for. And just a quick update on that. It seems like the shill situation is a little better, but it could just be because there hasn't been a lot of high-end Panini for sale lately. So
Well, it's funny you talk about that because there's been an ongoing text message in the last 24 hours that I've had now where it's kind of picking back up again.
is it? Is there
Yeah,
is
yeah.
there, is there one auction in particular where
Multiple auctions.
gotcha. And we
Yeah,
still don't know
multiple.
the culprit on that or nothing. Do
No,
we have
no,
any
we
ideas
don't.
or guesses still? Because I don't. I have no clue who.
No, no idea to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect me because I just
No, it's just because we report to the community and it's upsetting to
yeah,
some guys in the community. So we'd like to stay on top of it and sort of inform our audience that, hey, this has been going on. So be careful. It sucks, that someone would go and interfere with other people's affairs when they have no legitimate business or interest in the cards whatsoever. But anyways, we've been down
yeah.
that. So Chronicles came out, and then right off the heels of that comes 2023. And no, we're doing this again, 2023 and 2024, because this is all part of the Panini series. And that's, of course, the Immaculate. And last year we declared Immaculate as one of the greatest wrestling sets that has ever been made. There's no doubt about that. It was incredibly well received. The community, not just wrestling, but people outside of wrestling were talking to me about how great Immaculate was. And it seems like we might have another one on our hands.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the early buzz from 2023 Immaculate, the one that just came out now, is really high. I
Yeah.
haven't started yet, but I'm talking to someone now about who's opened 60 cases, I think. So I'm trying to do a deal with them so I can get as many of them in one go as I can. Poor Chuck, you know,
Mm.
he does all the work, and then I lay claim to collecting these things. But really, you know, it's a tag team of to us. But
Mm.
Immaculate, some of the relics that have come out have been great. What else is there? There's those booklets that are really, really cool. There,
Yep.
you know, those the before and after shots, you know, a young Becky Lynch, an older Becky Lynch. I mean,
Yeah.
those are interesting to me. I don't know if you remember in the TNA series, there was, I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was like Impact Live or Tenacious or Reflections.
No, it's called I know which one you're talking about where I
With
had
the
the
baby, with
splits.
the kids, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not just them as professional young.
Well, the first in the very first year they had a then and now.
Then and now, yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was. And it
Yeah,
was
then
like
and
a
now.
little kid, right? And
Yeah.
then because I remember I had people like ODB and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. And I'm surprised that that's never really been picked up on by Panini or Top since,
Yeah.
or has it? Not that I can think of off the top of my head,
Mm,
but
no.
interesting idea. So I think and think opinion that after this we're done. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be another big Panini release. I think that by the time we get to Prism Revolution next year, the bell is rung and we're to tops. Now, I don't know the exact dates and where that's going
I
to
don't
be.
even know if I don't know if we're getting a. I don't think there is a next year for Panini. I think
That's what I'm
this is
saying.
it.
Is that
I think
it's all coming to
2024
an
is
end.
it.
So I'm
Yeah.
assuming that this Immaculate is the last big set and maybe the last Panini set of all.
Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
That's
kind
a
of
good
hope it is.
question for.
Nothing on Panini. Again, I've loved this ride,
Hmm.
but it's been expensive for me. It's been, you know, like the challenge at the outset 2 years ago when Panini hit the market was that, well, set collectors aren't going to like
But here's
this.
the issue, though, Paul. Here's the issue.
Mhm.
Are you of the mindset where some people think and others who think that just because Tops is now going to take over again, that things are going to be, oh, it's going to be easier now?
No, not necessarily.
I think a blueprint has now been established. Some
Well,
it's been shown, and like Tops going, hey, there's a lot of great stuff that Panini did over there. Maybe
yeah,
create
no,
a buzz.
They had Transcendent, right? And we're talking specifically about things like Impeccable Panini, where one just can't go out and buy a set,
Yeah,
or you know, one just can't go out and get a rainbow easily. You know,
yeah.
it takes a lot of work and money and effort and knowing a lot of people to make this happen. Um, I think that they had Transcendent. They're obviously going to have premium releases. That's not going to go anywhere. You're right. You know, a precedent has been set. It just
Well,
becomes
I'm not talking about premium releases and cost and price wise per box and stuff like that. I'm talking about the level of parallels, the level of difficulty it's going to be to complete even just a base set.
well, it depends. It depends on, you know, it depends on how many premium sets they have. And I use the word
Sure.
premium to refer to
Yeah.
the Impeccable because those are the ones that are problems.
Yeah.
The NXT sets that they do, Prism, Revolution, Select, Chronicles, they're doable. They're doable, you know,
Well, Chronicles was only doable this year. It wasn't so doable last year.
it was. I got to the
It was
300.
hard.
Yeah, I
It's
got
still
to the 300. I don't
yeah.
know anyone else that has this year's set. I've been putting the word out. Anyone else got
This year
Chronicles?
set to
Yeah,
400
yeah.
got about 15 sets coming
You've got 15 of the 400
of Chronicles. Yeah,
of all 400 base cards.
all 400 base cards.
15 of them? You got
Yeah.
50.
Well, I shouldn't say 15. Let's put it this way. It's in the double digits.
All right, let me know for sure on that. Because if you're talking
Yes.
just 1 to 100, I'd say, yeah, no problem.
No, 1 through 400.
No, I'm talking right here. See this box here? This is full
Yes.
of doubles of
Yeah.
Chronicles 1 to 100 that I'm bringing to you at the National
Yeah.
for you just to have extra. Because
Yeah. 1
I
through
realized that
400.
I needed to buy all 400 in one go to make this thing work, or else I'd be forever trying to.
Let me double check that I'm not talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty damn sure it's going to be 1 through
Well, given
400.
what I had to do to
Because
get my
I know that.
400.
Let's see what we got here. It's right here. Here we go.
Well,
I
right now
know this
there's
is
one guy trying to
boring.
sell.
This is boring to people, I'm sure, but for
Well,
me,
this
it's
is important because it's going to cost about $400. And you're telling me that you've bought 15 times 400? I don't think so.
I'm on pace to build 10 to 14 complete sets of 1 through 400.
At how much per?
That doesn't say what the price is like that. Just I've got images here of boxes of being made.
Really? There's that many,
Yep.
huh? Because right as far as I know,
Because
there's just two.
as you've already attested to, as you've attested to, so it's not as difficult to complete
No,
this year's Chronicles as it was last year's.
no, and they're not $5 cards. You know, you should be able to buy 1 to 100. You should be able to buy the first 100 for like 15, $20. They should be like 20 cents, 30 cents a piece. And then it goes up from there. And numbers 300 to 400 are the most difficult. It's kind of like the way they did the whatever set where that we had the mezzanines.
Sure.
Those were
Select.
selects, yeah. And selects how the first tier was easier, then it got harder as it went along.
Yeah.
That's still the case here, but yeah, for next time we do this in 3 months' time, remember to speak about this again because I'm curious to see if you were able to put together 15 actual sets.
It
Because
looks like it's just
now,
looks like 10 to 12 sets easy.
yeah, I'd like to see if how easy that does come together. Because as far as I know now, I've got one, and there's one other, and the guy wants 450 for
Yeah.
that set. Now
I can get
you
I
can't
can
you
get it.
can't
I can
you
get
can't
it.
sell them. You can't sell them in the store for that. No one's going to come in and pay you like if
No,
you.
but I can sell it to you for half that.
Yeah, and I didn't pay that. I didn't
Yeah.
pay that. I didn't pay. I paid less than half that. But
Yeah.
again, it's
Yeah.
because I'm tied
Yeah.
to the guys that
Yeah.
buy. I probably bought from a guy like who's putting this together from you.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how many of those get put together because I'm not aware of a lot of guys that did the Impeccable sets. Certainly not aware of anyone else that did the Immaculate set.
Hmm.
Mark on the new one, and there are people buying it, but I think that it's PC stuff, player collectors.
Hmm.
So they're going
Hmm.
out and buying their Loomises and their Hogans and what have you, but not a lot of guys like me that are trying to put the whole set together for no other reason that it just has to make the wall. Like this is the wall,
Yeah.
so it's missing. It's not there.
That's
So I'm
all.
very
That's all
curious.
I did with Immaculate. I just went out and bought Loomis cards. That's all I did.
Yeah,
So
and
I'm pretty damn close to have my
I've got
rainbow.
some Impeccable doubles for you. So when we see each other in a few weeks' time, we'll get that. All
Cool.
right, so those are the big ones. The WWE Panini stuff. There was no AEW releases. Has there been an AEW release this year? Was there one earlier this year? I don't think so. AEW again, quiet. Probably something coming around the corner. Truth be told, I'm not following that as much as I ought to. I don't.
I thought I read somewhere, wasn't then they make an announcement for a Black Diamond set coming out or something like that, or
Yeah, but it's not
Exquisite
out.
or something like that. Not out yet. No,
It's
no, it's not
coming.
out
Yeah.
yet.
Well,
But it's supposed to be
there's
coming.
gonna be more AEW product, obviously, through Upper Deck, and we'll report on that. All right, let's talk about some of the indie stuff. And there's always an indie set coming out. And to be honest, to our audience, we're even slipping on a bit of that. You've fallen a bit behind on WTC because of the store, and we're not as it's difficult. It's just getting harder and harder with these one-offs and things like Toy Hero and Wrestling Junkie and all these guys that are
Yeah.
making things for Tony and I to stay on top of every single set because they're coming out of Australia, they're coming out of India, they're coming out of here, they're coming out of there. God bless the
Thank,
brotherhood
thank
for
God the Brotherhood exists.
if we didn't have all those guys, if we didn't have Caleb and Matt and Neubauer and Chris Myrtle and Chuck and all these guys, Tony O and of course Armand, Nick, the people that Nick in particular, like these guys, we rely on them because they're the ones that are buying these new sets and letting us know. Chuck and I haven't been buying as many. It's just hard to keep up, and there's so many. So that said, here's a bunch that we've got from this quarter. The AAA, sorry, the AAA Triple Mania. Now the AAA is the Mexican outfit,
Mhm.
and there's been a bunch of sets, but I want to just stop there. We got news that you told me about a guy that actually found a Corazon de Leon in the Mexican set.
Yep.
That was I saw Roy Lucier was aware of that guy.
Yeah, and he messaged me. Roy messaged me that the
Yeah,
guy had reached out to him, so he bought the entire set
yeah,
in Mexico
yeah.
for the equivalent of about $20.
Can you imagine? And that included the Jericho. So guys,
And
anybody
everything,
that lives,
everything.
anyone that lives on the border, hop down to Tijuana, go into Mexico, go into Juarez, go to Cancun, and start looking for this shit because they don't know what it's worth down there, right? And they're selling them for the equivalent of $20. When I saw that, I'm like, nice, like this happens sometimes. Every so often
Yeah.
you hear a thing. Like, another big acquisition is Tony managed to get the Rax roast beef,
Oh
very,
yeah.
very difficult to put a set
Yeah.
of that together. And I'm sure you got it for a good price. And these
Won't
things
won't
happen.
won't say what I got it
Of
for, but
course
it
you
was
will.
definitely
It was
it
definitely,
was shocking. To be honest
yeah,
with you, it was shocking. We
yeah,
had recently had in Madcap Moss and Emma in the store, and someone came to the store with a box of cards, all in 9 pocket sheets,
yeah.
and I just quickly thumbed through it,
And there
and
you
I
go.
saw one card in particular that gave me interest and stuff like that, and that was the Bobby Eaton Rax roast beef card.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm interested in the whole box just for that.
Yeah.
And then
I
the
would be
guy,
too. I'd have bought it all just for that. Even if
just
I
for
would have
that.
just gotten the one and not the rest.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I just said, what do you want for it? Yeah, we ended up he gave me a price. I said done. I'm just going to merge it all into singles anyways and see what I can make out of it.
But
I
do you not
handed
have
over
this,
to
do you not have it up for sale still for 10 grand? Is that still
I
out
do
there?
I do yeah yeah.
Yeah. Anybody?
I said I sent it over to I gave the box over to Nick. Nick went through it real quick. He goes, dude, there's more in here than just that one card.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
When I ended up
fantastic.
putting it all together, ended up being a set of that with doubles. There was
So
about
there's some doubles,
100.
huh?
There's some doubles in there too. Yeah.
The rarest set of all time, guys. With
Yeah.
doubles that Tony got a set this year, Uncle Danny got a set this year. I think Peck got a second set this year. I'm aware of two other guys
Yeah.
that said that they know where some are, and I'm aware of a guy in Florida that has not a complete set, but very rough, probably about half of them in really bad condition. Anyway,
I sent one in any condition, they're still valuable.
yeah, yeah,
And I had two of the Prince Tongas in that set. So I had one, and the second Prince Tonga I had was in pretty bad condition, like probably the worst condition of all of them. And I knew that Pete Lynch was looking for he really, really, really wanted just to even see one or hold one.
yeah.
So I just got his mailing address and just sent him the card. Just didn't even tell him what it was.
Wait a
Just
minute,
sent
you
him a
said Pete
card.
Lynch a Rax roast beef card?
Really bad Prince Tonga one.
Dude, no Rax roast beef.
I
You
have a
know,
card for
no
you.
Rax roast beef for 30 years. You know,
I have a card for
never mind,
you.
these guys have been in the hobby for a minute. 30
Oh,
years.
come on.
No
Don't
Rax
cry.
roast beef.
Stop it.
Well, Chuck says, what do you think he's going to do with them? And I said, well, we're not going to get them.
Well, and then on top of that, there was probably 150 singles of 88 Wondoramas with a couple of Sting
I know, it's
rookies.
incredible.
There was a complete set of 87 tops with stickers, a complete set of 90 Classic, a complete set of 90 Classic Series 2, and 4 cards short. Here's the oddball one. 4 cards short of a complete set of Heritage 4.
Still though. But the Rax was a score on that. It's like,
Yeah.
holy shit. And it's like, you know what? These aren't as rare as people think they are, but you know, it's a fantastic, fantastic acquisition.
Well,
And you know
what's
what?
fun about it.
Like I bought a complete set of 95 Paninis once, and I have been offered 10 times that since then, you know.
Yeah.
And you get lucky, but you know,
Well, it's the benefit of having the store, I think, is
yeah, you
that
know,
people know that you're a wrestling.
preparation meets opportunity. You've put yourself in a position. You're now
Yeah.
probably the leading seller of wrestling trading cards in the world, right? Retail wise. And you know, you put yourself in a great spot where you're going to get this stuff. But you know, when the next set of racks comes in, you know, right here. You got to put up for 10 grand, and you got to see if someone really.
Well, and here's the thing too. What I regret about that deal was, but because we had a signing going on, I was kind of busy trying to check people in, get them in line, da da da. And this person came in. We made the deal very quickly. It happened very fast, and then he left. And I really wanted to ask, like, hey, how'd you get a hold of these? Where's this from? You know, there was no explanations where they came from. And I regret not having that conversation because I thought,
but
hell, I should have recorded with him. It would have been nice.
You're probably better off to let him go though, because I don't want him one day to realize what's happened here.
But you know, I'm a big
I mean, it's his
believer
tough luck, but you know,
I'm a big believer in karma. So
yeah,
I've had people come in here and offer me things that what they asked for, I felt incredibly bad about paying them that little. To one point, I had a gentleman who gave me a pretty good collection between DVDs, T-shirts, action figures, some trading cards. It was all worth very good, very, very. I'm going to make very good money on it when it all sells.
Sure.
And he's like, just give me $20. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I can't give you $20. I said, you know, I had a price in mind. I gave him 80. He was ecstatic about it. And I said, anytime you come across any more wrestling stuff, you're gonna come bring it to me. It's like
I remember when Jamie Wallace bought the Hardcore Hack for like $250 or something like that at WCW. And I'm like, for fuck's sakes, you know, like I've been doing this every day for decades. And, you know, how does that happen? How does Tony get a Rex? How does this guy get that? That's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? And I'm up here, you know, so I'm a little bit further away. And I'm a cheapskate, so I'm not spending the big money.
I'm cheap. Hey, but trust me, I'm cheap too. I mean,
oh no, yeah. You're like me. You're not cheapskate, but you're not
yeah.
gonna, you know, like I know the way your mind works.
But it's just you know, question I want, like, how did you in Arizona get a hold of a set like this that was released in Tennessee back in 1979? How did it end up all the way over here? It's like
Yeah.
there's a story behind it, and I want to know that
Well,
story kind of.
it's
But
like my Panini's still the only set in the world,
yeah,
and out of New Zealand. But that's not where they started, right?
nope.
So how'd they go from Italy to South Africa to Europe to New Zealand? And there's no one else that has been able along the way from that side of the world. And every so often I'll see a couple, here's
Mm,
one here. So it's like, well, where are the lots? Where are the big lots? But they're just not out there. So anyways,
yep.
congratulations to you on
Mm.
that. And maybe one day, right?
I got something for you. Don't worry.
All right, so we that was meaning to mention about the Chris Jericho rookie card in the AAA. So that came out. Australian wrestling cards. These guys are putting out these guys in Australia are putting out these cards with quite a bit of regularity, and there's some great stuff. They did something called the Starcast Down Under, which was their version of Starcast, and then they put out a card with Conrad Thompson, a bunch of more
Hmm.
familiar faces, and they're doing really well. I also mentioned Kevin Gus. Now, we get into customs and this kind of thing, and there's some guys that are dear to our hearts in the hobby, and Kevin Gus is one of them because of the
Hmm.
quality of the stuff that he makes. And he's been making these custom cards now for a while, but we buy them. A lot of us main guys in the hobby purchase his product because we like it. And he did a series called the Superstars and Legend,
Hmm.
which were excellent. And he had some really neat extras in that, whereby he had what do you call it? Is it a reflector?
Lenticular.
Lenticular,
Lenticular.
where you bend it and you get one view. And I was thinking we should do that. We should do
Yeah.
a WCPG, WTC lenticular card where you bend it and you get each. But
We could
and
do
what
glow in the
else?
dark cards over here too. Like the print company here does glow in the dark cards
Yeah, those would be cool.
and die cut.
Right, right. So all these different things that now Kevin's weren't die cut, but he had the lenticulars. And what else did he have
Yeah.
in there? Was there stickers in there too? I don't
I think
recall.
they might have had stickers. I can't remember. I
Yeah.
bought a set sitting in the back over here. It's like that.
But
And I was really
there were
happy
some
with it.
nice pieces. Like I really like
Yeah,
his artwork
he
and
always does great pieces. So
yeah,
it's
kudos to Kevin Gustin and the great job that he does for the community. A couple more Dreamwave, don't know much about him. And again, our indie brothers are the ones that are going to tell us, okay, this is a company up in the Northeast or Northwest, or they're in Cali, or here they are. Um, and then the last one was Proving Ground, and these were all small sets of people you've never heard of, but you don't know when the next Seth Rollins is going to be in one of these sets.
yep,
So, we often say that they're affordable, but they're getting more expensive. It used to
they
be
are.
you used to be able to buy an indie set for $20. Now, Chuck, do you want to get this one for 40, 45? My first question is how many cards? And he says 15 cards. I'm like, no, I'm not
No,
paying more than a buck a card for an indie.
yeah,
Just not, maybe I'm missing out on the next Tyler Black or Mercedes Monet or what, but I'm just not doing it, and there's got to be value there. Same with the big stuff. Like, I mean, okay, I'm going to pay $5, $10, $15 for an Immaculate, but I'm not paying that for a Select for a
nope,
card. You know what I mean?
nope.
So those were the sort of new releases, and again, what we'll do is next time we'll get together, we'll sort of recap these and some other ones. But those
And that's
were
also one down on your list too. Don't forget, here at the store, we continue our series because keeps going.
absolutely,
So,
but that's an
um,
ongoing set, so that's going to
yeah.
be something that there's
Well,
always
and
going
we
to be.
introduced something new this last signing we had. We had Ron Simmons here this past couple weeks ago. So I introduced a new card part of the VIP packages we offer,
Right.
called the Signature Series. It's all metal card,
Yeah.
autograph card,
Oh,
and
nice.
so they look just like this.
How many of those do I stand a chance of seeing any of those, or am I just going to get the normal one for the set?
You probably get the normal one because these were for VIPs.
Okay.
So they're made. We number limit the number of VIPs are made. So
Gotcha.
and then I try to sell what I have left to offset my print costs.
Gotcha.
So, but
Set aside one of the regular series for me.
of course, I always
Yeah.
set one aside for you guys. So, I mean,
Cool.
but yeah, came out really nice with the whole bit with that from
Mhm.
the front. Congratulations.
I didn't want to send you my Farouk. I just didn't want to take a chance that, the mail from Toronto to down there could have taken forever and it could have got lost or couldn't have, I kind of regret now that you had him right beside you and I didn't take advantage of
Yeah,
it. But I just didn't want to take that chance that
I hear you. I get it.
I mail it
Uh,
down and it doesn't get there. And now what have we done? You know what I mean?
Shout out to Adrian too for the nice design. Thank you.
Yeah.
He does
Adrian's our
incredible work.
resident graphic designer in the hobby,
Yeah.
does fabulous
So,
stuff. And he's always posting a lot of custom stuff online that he does. So, if
sure.
you're not following Adrian Brown, KJFX, do that. You're gonna be thrilled by the stuff that he does, and a lot of it is just digital, it's just stuff, that he does for fun. But that guy should get a job at Topps or Panini or somewhere like that because he's a killer.
He
So
really should.
yeah.
Really should.
All right, you want to deal with some sales, top numbers of the quarter?
Yeah,
for
let's get ready to get some sales going here.
yeah, okay. So we'll start with number 10. This is April to June 2024. Number 10, 1983, Jake Roberts Wrestling All-Stars, the BGF 9.5, traded for 3,500 bucks, and that's going to be the range and up for any of these guys that come up on a 9.5. There's going to be lesser names than Jake, but anybody of a Jake Roberts caliber name or more is going to get
Hmm.
that and then some. Um, Number 9 was a 1981 Hulk Hogan Poppy PSA 8 that traded for $5,700. And we're going to be talking more about Poppies a couple of times after this. Number 8 was a 2022 Select Undertaker Black Prism, 1 of 1, PSA 9, and that sold for $5,800. And again, the black 1 of 1s, if we happen to catch one on the quarter, that's going to make our list, especially
Yeah.
if it's a Taker or if it's an Austin or a Cena. These guys in the Panini product, I mean, obviously the inaugural 2022 Black Prisms are going to be the top, but that doesn't mean that the select black prisms and the other black prisms aren't going to be desirable, because your personal collectors need to have those.
Yep.
If you're a Cena guy or you're a Loomis guy, you want that 1 of 1 if you can get your hands on it,
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean, here's how I made this very clear in the past too. For me, I don't own a single 1 of 1 Loomis card.
You haven't gotten one yet?
Um,
You will eventually.
I mean, maybe I will eventually, but it's not the end all be all for my
No.
collection. I enjoy the thrill of just getting what I get. So I don't need to have the 1 of 1s. Like I'm almost done with my rainbow for Immaculate, but I need the 1 of 1.
Right.
Otherwise I have everything else. I, but if I get
No,
it, I get it.
I
If I
agree
don't,
with
I
that.
don't.
Just, like I'm doing the mass set, and this came up, and Chuck and I were talking about it. When I did the Impeccables, I didn't do all lowest tier. I did whatever I could get my hands on, because some
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
that broke a lot of cases are going to have some 99, some 75, some 50s, and I think I got one number to 5. I don't care. I just
yeah.
want the 100 base cards. But our friend Ryan Shear doesn't see it that way. He doesn't think that I've collected the entire base set unless I have all of the same level of parallel. I'm like, fuck that.
Hey, well, maybe,
I've been,
hey, maybe as a side
if I go
project,
back
because
to platinum, if I go back to, I'm after numbers 1 to 100. Could care less if they're orange, brown,
I don't know, but I see both sides of that. I
yeah,
think that you
you can
should.
make the argument, but for
I
me,
think that you should
regardless,
probably
I don't
go and
care.
keep them all at the high number of 99, and then maybe start trading off your say, hey, I'll trade you my number to 75 for number to
Yeah, but you
99.
can't. Like once they're done, they're done. Like once I finish this Impeccable set,
I got
I'm
it.
never thinking about 2023 Impeccable again, because I've got to start dealing with Immaculate now, right?
I hear
If I
you.
if I go back, to like a 2010 Platinum, I've got. I mean, how Chuck has all the greens and all the blue,
Sure.
right? I've got a lot of those parallel sets as well. But if someone came up to me and said, "Here's 100 cards, there's a bunch of blues, bunch of yellows, and they have all 100 cards," I consider the set complete. Now, people might say, "Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not really the set because they're different colors." I'm like, well,
yeah. I hear
show me
that
where
too.
it's written.
It's like me, yeah, having an issue with you calling things master sets. You don't have any master sets of that stuff. You don't have a master set of Immaculate. You have a
No, of
base set.
course not.
You
No, of
don't have a
course not.
master set.
I don't, yeah, and I don't call them, I shouldn't, you're right. I have the master Fleer
I mean,
sets, but
I just put together.
nobody
I
has
just put
Panini master
together.
sets, but
No,
I
so
have
that's
Panini
my
base
point.
sets.
That's my
Yes,
point. So like, I have. I just put together a 2002 Absolute Divas set.
yes,
And then I go, oh shit, I found a box that had all the tropical pleasures, all the cover shots, everything except for the kiss cards, the relics, and the autographs. I consider that a mini master set, what I call it.
correct. Now,
So,
I
and
would
that's
have that with all the relics, with all the
sure,
autographs.
yes,
Like for
that's a
example,
master
let me just
set.
pick one, like 2004 PNA, for example.
Yeah,
I've got the parallel set. I've got the parallel autographs. I've got every single card that was
yes,
made in that release. But you can't say that about, after 2004 or whenever it was.
6.
Yeah, around there somewhere, it just became fucking impossible. So
Yeah.
yes, master is a word that we got to be careful on, because no, of course not. I don't have any
So
Panini.
when I ask someone that, I go, I have a mini master set of this like that. Oh, so it has autographs in it, it's like that? No, it
No,
doesn't have
no.
autographs. And I show them the binder of like the
Yeah.
98 superstars that has like the 6-up sheet and the promos and the omnichromes and the base set. I said those are the mini master sets. Like,
Well,
oh, there's no autographs in it.
consider Prism or Revolution. I've got
Yeah.
I've got the base set to 200. I've got every insert set,
Hmm.
but I don't have autographs and I don't have parallels and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, is that a master set?
No.
Maybe. Not
I
really.
I, I had the 20. I finished putting together that the 20 the premier
People call
prism
it
set
that
that came
though.
out. The premier prism set is like that. So I put that together. So it's all 200 cards plus all the next levels and golds and prismatic entrances. So it's to me it's a mini master set.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have any parallels, no autographs, no nothing.
Well, that's all I'm going after.
Yeah,
Like that when I get that, I'm done. I'm off
yeah.
that set now. I don't need to go. Yes, back in the Fleer days, I'm gonna have all of the relics and all of the autographs, but that
It was
was in the days
attainable
where
because
I
I
didn't
had
have,
all that. I had all that stuff.
yeah, like that was before the shipping bullshit that I had to contend with, and I had to stop all that. And thankfully that came along because look at it, it's still expensive just carrying on with the base stuff for Panini. Like
Correct.
to give you an idea, I'm probably into the Impeccable for 500-600 bucks maybe by the time you calculate everyone and the shipping and all that. I don't know that I could turn that around for that. Maybe a few years from now, yes, but
Maybe you could. Yeah,
it's just part of the completeness of everything. Like I
yeah,
want I want the Panini base sets because I have the Fleer base sets, I have the tops, like everyone. So that's the method to my madness. But I'm not one of these guys that believe. Now with Impeccable, I had everyone, or sorry, of Immaculate last year, I had every one of the 99. I didn't have any outside of that parallel. And I believe for this year's, the lowest tier is 75. And I believe that I'm going to be chasing down just the 75s. But if there's two or three that happen to be numbered to 50 or 10, they count because they're that number card. And I'm not going
yeah,
to go back. I'm never going to go back and try and trade up or swap things in and out. They're there and they're there. For me, I have number cards number 1 to 100 done, and show me where it's written otherwise that doesn't count. But anyways. Just a little
yeah.
rant on the side. All right, so where were we? So that was the Black Prisms. And then, yeah, this came up. Number 7, 2022 select Gable Steveson 101 Black Prism PSA 10. Again, this is the same conversation we just had a moment ago. It's a Black Prism, so it's going to get a big number, and it's the highest grade, so it's going to get a big number. But a lot of us are wondering, Gable Steveson didn't turn into anything, right?
Yeah, I have a question
Yeah.
on our notes, by the way, because this price falls below the number 8 price.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah. So yeah, I just got those in the wrong order. So you're absolutely right. I made a mistake. That is correct. The 4,000 is right. I just got them in the wrong spot. So in actual fact, the last two should move up and he should move down to the number 9 spot. So
Number
good.
9 spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was doing this.
Yeah, we've talked about Stevenson several times in the past, and I'm still
Stevenson.
I don't yeah, Stevenson. I don't get the allure here. I don't understand. I think this was during the height of people speculating, people really getting into the prospecting at that point, and they thought this was going to be the next Kurt Angle or something like that,
Yeah.
and it ended up
But I
being
could see
a
that on a prism, but on a select.
total bust. Yeah,
I
on a
could,
select, but it is I know it's a one of one,
101
and the
black.
one of ones are going to hold some value no matter what. I mean, it could be a Butch for all I know, a one of one, and it probably still going to hold up. I don't know. Maybe I'm just off base here, but I don't get the allure here. This is sort of
No,
a
me
weird
neither. It's a
anomaly to me.
tricky one just because he's just unproven. Now maybe that'll change.
Correct.
And of course, there's a big contingent of amateur fans, and Rob England's a big likes Olympic wrestling. I'm just surprised that's the number. Anyway, so
Actually,
now we're
look,
back on track.
going over our listener show next. Number 7, 6, and 5 all should be moved down.
Yeah, so yeah, I cocked up the numbering here, guys. My apologies. So some of these are higher than lower, but I'm giving you the right numbers when
Yeah,
I
yeah,
when I go across. So the next one on my list at 5 grand was a 2023 Liv Morgan Impeccable Gold Bar. So those ones from the Impeccable sets are the ones that have the troy ounce of silver and gold. The
yeah.
gold are one of one, and they're all getting big numbers. I think the Cena in the first quarter went for a lot, but 5 grand for Liv Morgan. So that's certainly something. Next for 5 grand, we had the 2022 AEW MJF Metal Universe Gold one of one. And was that a Graven? Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, MJF is back, and his stuff, he's certainly going to be the biggest name in the upper deck cards. And if you get a one of one from the metal, which was a very popular set, it's going to get a lot of money.
It's weird to me now. I think, well, not weird to me, but this is how my brain thinks now. When I see a high grade or a high dollar amount for an MJF, I naturally now just kind of gravitate towards that's a Graven card.
More than likely, and I don't like to be nosy and disrespect his privacy, but for a bit there I was checking in. Hey, this you, and I realized, you know what, I shouldn't be nipping at the guy. Like, if he wants us to know what he's doing, he'll tell us,
Yeah.
and he's
Oh, of
very good that
course.
way.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
bunch of guys are, and I'm going to talk about that in a second when we talk about Jeremy Pador,
Yeah.
about a private sale, about
Sure.
how we handle private sales versus stuff that we can verify on auction. But I post stuff all the time, and then people say, Well, did it get paid for? I don't know. You know, guys, I just go on to 130 point
Sure.
stuff and I report it. You know, I can't say if this was shilled. I can't say, you know, if I see it's one bidder with zero feedback, then I'm going to be hesitant, you know, now to speak to it. But if it's a bunch of different people bidding on it and it lands at a $5,000 price, then it's good.
I forget our policy here on the top 10. Is it we're just doing single cards, or, or do
Yes.
complete sets count too?
No, I don't count complete sets because it's tricky to determine what card drove the value of the set. Like, for example,
Why does it have to be a card? Why can't a set be a set? Like, why can't it be
yeah,
like the full 82
it
All
could be, but
Stars?
you're not going to get a set. Well, that's not true. You might find like a bunch of paninis, for example, 95 paninis graded. Someone sold some for like 5 or 6 grand, and there was
Yeah.
only 10 of them. But what I'm doing here is just trying to highlight what specific cards in particular, um, because um, what I want to talk about is the top sales of all time. We'll get to that when we talk about the private
Yeah.
sale that happened this month that
All right.
isn't on our list. But let's just finish off the list of what
Okay.
we got from eBay. So
Number
uh,
4.
number 4 was the 82 All-Stars Ric Flair PSA 9. That's always a popular card on any given month if it comes up, $6,200. Uh, Number 3 is again a 1981 Hulk Hogan Poppy. PSA 8 that went for $6,500, and this is the second Poppy that we're seeing. So that card really is coming into its own and becoming
Yeah.
one of the bigger ones. And then the last two, number 2 was 1982 Hogan Wrestling All-Stars autographed PSA 8 for 10,800. And there was some other ones, like Brian Williams likes to send me different Hogans that pass, and I could have a bunch of Hogans in there, but I like to say, okay, here's the top Hogan of the quarter at
Sure.
10,800. And the number one sale, guys, of the quarter was yet again Hulk Hogan 1981 Marusho, the Japanese card in a PSA 8, and that traded for 12,900. Now, Tony, check this out. Here's something interesting.
Hmm.
Last quarter, you know, January, February, March, our top
Hmm.
sale was $12,200, and our number 10 was 3715. This
Hmm.
quarter, our top sale was $12,900 and our number 10 sale was 3,500 bucks. So almost identical insofar as
Yep.
a high and a low. And if we were still doing the index, if you guys recall last year when Tony and I would do our index and we'd look month to month to try and cross-tabulate trends and trying to accurately report, here's what you can reasonably expect out of this release, that release, this is high, this is
Hmm.
low. It seems that the two quarters are almost identical insofar as their top and their bottom lines. Um, and if you look at the numbers, they're all kind of similar. So this is interesting to me that when we do it by quarter, you know, unless you have a unicorn like a rock prism black coming from
Sure.
126, you're very, very close on the two quarters.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm noticing that as well, and it's a lot of similar cards that are
Similar cards as well. And you
yeah,
see
top and bottom.
the Hogan the Poppy a couple of times. There was a private sale to Mr. Jeremy Pador. He's
Hmm.
a well-known guy online. He's a little higher up the snack, the food chain than we are insofar as popularity on Twitter and this kind of thing.
Hmm.
And he bought a Hogan Poppy for $40,000, PSA 10. And he believes that card to be the card. And I've invited him to come on with us.
Hmm.
Like I say, he does his own thing. Like he's quite a popular guy out there. So, you know, to come and hang out with us common folk. But I didn't include his $40,000 because, you know, when someone says, here's what I paid, I take their word for it. But I don't see a canceled check. I don't see their bank account. So if
Yeah.
someone tells me this is what they paid and they're a known person in the hobby, like if Gravid says he paid 5 grand for an MJF, I take him at his word. Um, but when it's
This
something
is it.
like,
This is the equivalent of someone pulling a Sting hologram card out of a pack.
yeah, essentially, you know, like
I pulled
we
one,
can't verify it.
therefore it's valid. Yeah.
Yeah. So I spoke to Jeremy. He told me the number, um, $40,000. And this is an issue with pricing, and it really became an issue back in 2022 when Prism first came out, and those high-end Prisms started hitting the market because the numbers were just all over the place. Private sale of this, private sale of that, and I was like, wait a minute, stop, slow down, everyone, stop. I can't verify any of this stuff, and I've been doing this for a long time. So if I'm going to take on the responsibility with you of looking at this on a daily basis, there are some things that we can take on faith, and there's some that we can't. You know, like when the Black Prism Rock sold the first time, I heard from 3 different people that I know and respect 3 different numbers. You know, Drake Magruder had a price, Gelman had a price. I had a price from 2 different people. I believe that number was 66,000 because that's the number I heard twice.
Hmm.
But I can't verify it. I can't say for a fact that this is what it was. And Jeremy could have told me anything, and I'd report it. I'd report it. Now, the reason why I mention this is because at the end of this video, just before we do our sign off, I'm going to print, I'm going to append the top sales of all time. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because Brian Williams asked me, hey, do you know, he was asking me specifically about where in the grand scheme of things, a Hogan was going to fit. And I said, you know what, that's a good point, man. We need to sort of say, okay, we know that the Rock Black Prism 126,000 is number one.
I
Then the
almost feel like
Hogan,
that's number one, and the other nine are going to be all Hogan's.
well, that's what it ends up being. It ends
Yeah.
up being a lot of Hogan, but you know, just to make you guys listen to the end of this episode, at the end of this episode, I'm going to append the current top 10 wrestling cards of all time. Susan is working on setting up a page for Price Guide. Maybe we'll get it out to WTC as well, of just having them there so that people at any given time can just look and say, okay, to the best of our knowledge, here are the top selling wrestling cards of all time. And Jeremy's $40,000 makes that list, right? Even though I can't, I'm taking his word for it, you know.
Do we
And
do we put an asterisk next to it with some information at the bottom as a why?
yeah, and I
It's
mean,
on the
you're good
list.
for that.
It's on the
You're very
list,
good for
but it
that on
can't.
W. Yeah, you're very good for that on WTC insofar as breaking out more detail so that people understand. You know, pricing's a tricky game because someone could say, oh, you know, like Adam was throwing out a lot of numbers in the early days, and I was like, well, hold the phone, you know. Just because you say it doesn't mean that it's true. Just because someone told you that it
Yeah.
is that guy's true, and on and on and on. You know, we've experienced this directly, and we don't know if cars are being shilled. We don't, you know, so grain of salt, guys, I guess is what I'm getting at with some of these higher end prices. But even though I don't know that for the quarter, Jerry Padower spent $40,000 on a Hogan Poppy, which is one of the biggest sales of all time. So congratulations to him. And it's good for the hobby when you got guys that have influence, you know, outside of our sort of core guys that are speaking highly about wrestling. It's just across the board good for us. So,
Yep.
all right. So that was numbers. What else do we got here? So yeah, do you want to get into that discussion now? Like, should we talk about how our sort of I wouldn't say disagreement, but you and Nick were together, and I guess it was an independent girl's business card. And Nick said, "Oh, this is cool. This is a wrestling card." And you're like, "No, it's not. It's a business
No, it's
card."
not. It's business card.
Yeah. And then Nick smartly behind your back comes to me and says, "Hey, what do you think?" And I'm like,
Oh, I
"Yeah,
know. He told me he
yeah,
was
yeah,
texting you.
yeah, yeah." And I said, "Yeah, this passes." And then right away you start texting me. I'm like, uh-oh, I picked the wrong. I didn't
Yeah.
choose right on this one. And then we got into it.
Yeah.
And you know, so we're gonna ask the question, what is a wrestling trading card? Now,
Well, here's the qualifications that Nick tries to go by the way, and I had
okay.
strongly disagree
And then
with.
we'll do our qualifications. And I'm
So
gonna
if it's made of cardboard, it's a trading card. I see. You
yeah,
know, I have these life-size stand-ups here. Are they trading cards?
no, no. So
Why? Why
there's
not?
obviously
It has
there's
information on them. It's made
well,
of
no,
cardboard.
we're gonna go through a bunch of things and we're gonna
I
try.
print out a bunch of trading cards. Here's my trading card.
Okay, well, slow down. We're gonna attack this in a logical fashion so that we can try and get to some sort of answer. Okay. If something is tradable or something is collectible, great. You know, then it's up to me or you to decide whether it goes on WTC
Well,
and
everything is tradable or collectible, depending on people. Some people collect lint for crying out loud. So
right. Well, people collect figures, people collect lunchboxes, people collect T-shirts, right? You know, that's not our game.
yes,
But
as a kid, I used to collect business cards from
okay,
every
well,
place I went to.
let's go to my list. Okay, so the whole thing, you know, let's go to my biggest pet peeve for the longest time was people was saying, hey, these paper cards out of magazines are wrestling trading cards. I'm getting them graded, and I'm
Yeah.
like, these aren't cards. And I lost that argument because I was the only one that said that. Everyone else was, oh no, 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 the wrestling
Hey, in the
manual.
beginning, I didn't look at them as cards either until one of the magazines quoted them as trading cards. Cut them, collect them. You
Right,
know,
but
right
they're
on the
not card,
cover.
they're not cardboard, right? So obviously it's not the fact that they're cardboard that makes it a wrestling trading card because what happens when we get to Visa or plastic phone cards? They're not made out of cardboard,
Correct.
right? But they're
Yep.
wrestling trading cards, are they not?
No, they're Visa.
They're not.
They're credit cards. They're
They're
phone cards. They're
okay.
not trading
All
cards.
right, so let's go for so a paper magazine card is a wrestling
Just like
trade.
stickers. Stickers are not trading cards.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you decide on all of these and then we'll
Mm-hmm.
we'll round it off. So let's go to number one, paper magazine cards. Yes or no?
Great. Now the market says yeah. I say no, but
I say no.
I
But
say
there's this
no,
gray
but
area,
here they
right?
are.
There's going to be
Yeah,
everything's not black and white, and
correct.
even our gray areas don't align. I'm more open to things I think than you are, you know. But okay, so let's talk about business cards. You know, a business card is a business card. But what if I go out and I start collecting Matt Cardona's business card, Brian, all these, a bunch of different cards, and I put them on the wall, does that make them wrestling cards or no? They're just business cards.
They're just business cards. There's a
Okay,
guy
okay.
online there's a Facebook group where gentleman who apparently has a lot of Mark Yeaton's collection of stuff.
Yeah.
Everything from shirts to programs to 8x10s to you name it. And then recently he just started putting up a bunch of WWF/WWE talent and corporate people's business cards
And
up for
they'll
sale.
be collectible, but
Yeah.
we're not defining what's collectible and what's tradable here. We're defining what makes a wrestling trading card, right? And we've already
Yeah,
said
what's worth archiving is where I'm at. So like
no, there's a
where
difference there. There's a
no.
difference. There's a difference there to me because I'm trying to define what is a wrestling trading card because I'm going to archive the All Stars calendar, right? Which is
Yeah,
obviously not a wrestling trading card. So
correct.
what we choose to archive is up to us, and we're pretty close. We're probably like 95% the same, but there's some things I have that you don't and vice
Yeah.
versa by choice, right? Um, let's talk about Valentine's cards. I've got a whack here. I can pull a drawer full of different boxes of Valentine's cards. They're cards,
Mhm.
they're wrestlers, but are they wrestling trading cards? No, they're Valentine cards is
The
what they are,
Valentine's cards,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, right. But
They're
people
they're
like,
they're produced and marketed as Valentine's cards.
okay, stickers. Stickers are stickers, right?
Stickers are stickers.
Stickers are
I
stickers.
mean, it's just like this is so dumb in the fact that like it's right there in the name, dude. It's
Yeah.
sticker. Where
Okay,
tell me where in that
let's talk about magnets. There was a series in I think Heritage 4 where there was 10
yes.
insert magnets.
Magnets. Yep. Cut
Now,
the size of trading cards, yeah. And
correct.
make it look like trading cards, yeah.
Are those wrestling trading cards or are those just wrestling magnets?
That I say they become trading card because they're put in trading card packs.
Well, here we go. I'm going to skip a
So
few.
so I gotta put
Consider the Rumble pack.
are your Valentine's cards put in packs of trading cards? No. Are your
No,
calendars put in packs of trading cards?
no.
No.
Okay, consider stuff like Rumble packs. You remember those that had the rings, that had the glow in the darks,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
But what we're saying is that if it's part of a larger release of wrestling, so if it's tops 99 and it happens to have stickers, happens to have magnets, how about temporary tattoos, as in one of the TNA releases?
Yep.
Tattoos are tattoos. They're not trading cards, but
Correct.
they're in the trading card release. So they are
Yep.
trading cards.
No, they're not trading cards. They're still tattoos, but they were
Right.
released with trading cards. So as an
Right.
archivist, you want to make sure that when someone opens up a pack of cards,
Yes.
trading cards, what came inside of it? Oh, these tattoos came inside of it. So if your calendars came inside of a pack of cards, I'd archive it. But they
Okay,
don't.
let's talk about things that are obviously cards, but we don't archive. Let's talk about amateur wrestling, and let's talk about sumo wrestling, and let's talk about MMA, UFC cards.
Sure.
We don't touch any of that stuff. But obviously there's
Because
wrestlers.
we
There's
stick with
wrestlers
the
in
world, yeah, we
MMA.
stick with the world of pro wrestling, and we do make notations of we do that with like the Leaf products when they have their pop centuries like that.
Yes, you
They
remember? Yeah,
contain
and they've had some releases where they had George St. Pierre
yep,
and Bruno Sammartino in the same group, right? In
yep.
the same
So
insert.
I archive Bruno, but I don't archive George St. Pierre.
You don't. See, I
I don't
do because he's
because
with the
he's
wrestler.
not a pro wrestler.
Nah, hang on a second here. If I go to WTC, are you saying everybody on there is a pro wrestler?
They should be.
Yeah?
They
Managers?
should be. I mean, I'm not going to archive Clint Eastwood in the same set.
Are you going to archive Cyndi Lauper?
No, I mean, yeah, she could be because she's into wrestling, but if she put it could be. That's a gray area. So that's a very good point right there for a gray
Well,
area.
I'm trying to sort of get at the gray area because when
Yeah.
we're done here, I'm not so sure we're going to accomplish anything, right?
No, we probably won't.
You and I are obviously allowed to disagree on what goes onto the two sites, and
Yeah.
that's the case.
Yeah.
Like you have thumb wrestlers on there, I don't. I have Valentine's, you don't, and
Yeah,
so
that I did as a favor to the guy. I really should remove it.
Point is though, is that I think we're clear that it doesn't have to be cardboard, but it's got to be an image of a wrestler on something that isn't the size of a cutout,
Yeah.
that um, is somewhere in the range of a 3.5 by 2.5 card. And
It doesn't
again,
have to be that either. Doesn't have to be that either. I've got
no,
oversized Tori Wilson autograph cards that were box toppers. I mean, I've got
you
the
started
Allen
a business.
Ginters.
You started a business on a wrestling card that's not a standard size trading card,
Correct.
right? What about the
Exactly.
big ones? What about promo cards? What about 8.5 by 10 photos that are on cardboard instead of photo paper? Like
Oh,
Boyd Pierce.
that's a well, God, yeah, the whole entire P series line then of WWF/WWE that came out.
Right?
I've got thousands of them sitting back here from that issue from WWE. Are they
So
trading
they're
cards? No, they're
those are
promo photos.
Okay, what about Boyd Pierce?
How were they released?
They were just given out at events, but they're photo cards, like
Photo
the
cards, yeah.
post, like the postcards from the
Like
exhibit.
postcards. So yeah.
But wrestling postcards and wrestling trading cards are the same thing, are they not? I mean, one's a poster,
Close.
but one's we accept them as both, whether it's you know, whether it's a
Whether
celebrity
we
postcard.
want to or not, it's the same areas like paper cards and stickers. We've had to adjust and go to what the market is asking for.
Right.
So
And realize, guys, the buck doesn't stop here. We're just talking about it because we can't even get on the same page sometimes, right?
yeah.
And you know, nothing to be upset about. It's just that that gray area is nebulous, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, it's very clear what is a wrestling trading card. It's when you get into that gray area, well, does this count or not? And it has nothing to do with whether our sites archive it because that's a personal choice. I
Mhm.
put the All Stars calendar on there because I said, oh, this is cool. I want that on there. You know, some
Well,
people,
putting things on because they're cool is one thing, but I think at this certain point now that we're at this stage in our careers, whatever you want to call it, of we're
I sell
archivists that
real
people
estate too. That's my career.
people depend on the information we provide.
Well, that's why
I
we're having this
know,
conversation
and I
because
know that grading companies, especially for I know for WTC, have depended on it to be
yeah,
accurate and to
nothing,
to
we're
validate
not
things.
calling into question the accuracy of anything we do, right? Everything that you do is vetted. You don't publish anything. I don't publish anything unless we believe in it. It's what we
No,
publish.
and usually when we talk about these gray areas, you, myself, Chuckster, Nick, even
Armand.
Amon possibly. But for the core, I think it's Chuck, you and myself. We sit here and have discussions about these things. Like, do we need to put this on the sites? Does this need
Yeah.
to be archived? And I think ultimately we end up making those decisions like that end up being taken at some point in time as gospel sometimes from people. So
Well, sure. If enough
uh,
time passes because they're there, people are going to say, "Oh, this counts," and we recognize the responsibility we have. But that's why we're having this discussion now openly.
So that's why I find it very important that we are not only being accurate, but that we're putting information out there that is
Relevant.
relevant and that's um,
Well, you can't have
you
too
know,
much, can you? Like it's bad if you're missing stuff, but let's just say, for
no, you
example,
can never have too much. I'd rather have too much
yeah,
than not
like I
enough.
mean, there isn't the equivalent of us for the UFC world. There aren't two guys out
No,
here in the MMA world
that
that
I'm
have
aware of.
fights like that we have, you know, and maybe one day we have to take that on. Maybe not. The point is that, you know, what we've done for wrestling is a very cool thing. And not just one guy, two guys, me and you, independent of each other, although obviously we became friends many years ago. And
Yeah,
in the last couple of years, we decided, okay, let's do this together, you know, so that we're not fucking button heads all the time and this kind of thing. And it's for the betterment of the hobby because look at what we've been able to accomplish together outside of the sites with the national and with the card series and all this other stuff. You know, like we've done our share to help the community. And this discussion, I think, is relevant to the community because
it
some
is.
guys may not see it the way we do. And by all means, chime in. You know, if you think that we're way off base on, you know, or I'm way off base for calling a Valentine's Day card a wrestling card, or you know, what do you think about Tony's life-size cardboard cutouts? Should they be something that we include? You know, because I said stickers, magnets, tattoos. You know, there's so many different things, but there's that gray area. There's always going to be a gray area, and it's okay. It's okay if you and I disagree, but the main thing is that we have the discussion first, so that
Yeah.
it's in front of us, so that okay, Tony's
Which is why
decided
I mean I
this way,
hope
I'm
that
deciding
anybody
that way.
who's watching or listening, that's why we have a comments down below. Make sure you
Yeah.
chime in and add your 2 cents of
Anybody
what you
have any
think.
thoughts on this
Yeah,
that can help the community and sort of get us closer? But again, it's not like we're upside down on this stuff or it's a mess. Like we're just trying to clarify so that it's clear to people that, you know, some things are very obvious, but other things aren't, you know. And of course, if you buy a transcendent or heritage and it comes with stuff like that isn't cardboard,
well, I mean, hell,
it counts.
we had 2000 what four whatever it is, insider that had little collector coins inside of
That's
it.
right.
Some had
That's
chips
right.
inside of it.
All this stuff.
The dog tags had trading cards in the
Yes.
packs and also the trading cards, and the
Yeah.
trading
Now,
cards
dog
weren't
tags
out.
aren't trading cards, but the
No,
trading cards that came with the dog tags are trading cards,
yeah,
right?
well, because it was sold as a dog tag, and
Yes. And it
and you
had
get
a
a trading
trading
card to
card
go
in it.
with it. Yeah,
But like it's like micro brawlers, for example. I don't give a shit about the figure. I don't give a shit about the complete packaging on the back. I just want to cut out that square or
card.
that
Yeah,
rectangle. And now all of a sudden, when you put them together, you've got something. Now you've got a
yeah,
set of micro brawlers. But it's an interesting discussion. When you said we should talk about it, that's why I made a note that
yeah,
yeah, because it's something we've sort of danced around and we deal with on a regular basis, but we've never openly discussed it with each other this way
yeah.
and or in public. Um, but yeah, if your thoughts are what is a wrestling trading card and there's something we're missing or you'd like to add to that, by all means,
Yeah.
let us know.
Chime in.
All right. So the last thing before we call it a day and wish everyone a nice long weekend is the Nationals coming up. We're a little under a month away. We're going to be back at it again on the panel. Don't have the time confirmed yet. Trying to get the same time as last 2 years, the Thursday at 5 o'clock. I should know probably in a week or two before. And we're also happy to announce that the main event this year is going to be right at the IX Center. And the IX Center is right at the airport. So it's very convenient for people coming and going. And it's going to be 2 nights. And what it is it's going to be a big trade night where it's going to represent a bunch of different segments of the hobby. So you're going to have car racing, hockey, and wrestling is going to be a part of it.
Mhm.
Um, so congratulations to Adam Gelman and all the hard work that he's done to sort of make that come together. We've been working with him. I know you've just done the trading cards and
Just
Ryan.
got the proof. Just sent over to the
Yeah.
team. I sent them some
Yeah,
images of the
there's a small
proofs.
group of us sort of helping along to make this something special, and I'm reasonably sure that when it's done, the four of us, maybe we'll have Chuck as a fifth join us as well. We'll talk about our experiences this year at the National and what was exciting about it. But so that's the 24th through to the 29th, I think it is, last week of July in Cleveland. We're going to be there again, like I say, at the panel. We're going to be working the floors. We're going to be doing probably something like this from the National. And we're just going to be hanging out. I'm looking forward to just seeing you and Chuck again because I haven't seen Chuck in 2 years. We speak every day, but I haven't seen him. Uh, you know, yeah, I know you're hesitant, but you're always hesitant. You're going to be there.
Yeah, it's. I still haven't purchased a flight or a ticket for the show yet.
I know. Nor had you at this time
So
last year or the year before that.
no, that's not true. I was already well. I was done, but
Real?
then I purchased my ticket way in advance, and I was worried about getting a flight. Now it's a little bit of both
You
like
know what,
that.
though? I
So
was going to drive to Cleveland because I didn't think there was a flight, and it was just I was looking too early. And then by Christmas, they started posting Air Canada flights, and I realized, okay, I could drive for 5 hours or I can fly for 50 minutes.
yeah, I found flights, but it's just a matter of price right now. It's a little outrageous. So
Well, keep looking.
pretty
Yeah,
outrageous.
don't you have
So
points? You have a lot of points accumulated for that stuff,
I
don't you?
use a lot of points for last time. I cashed in a lot of my points for
Yeah.
the one in New Jersey. I flew
I know
first
you
class
use
the way
that for
there
a
and
lot of
back.
your a lot of things you do with curtain stuff. I know that you're often using points on that.
No, I don't use points for any of that stuff. That's all paid
Yep.
for by the promoters.
Ah,
I get the points for it. So
right. So
and
that's where you
then
get them from. Right.
yeah, and then now that we have the talent that comes in here, so I have a couple of different credit cards I used to purchase and build points off like that. So we're looking into that.
Nice. Nice.
Oh,
So yeah, the National, come join us. We're going to be there. We're looking forward to meeting as many as possible. Come to the trade nights. They're going to be lots of fun. Come see our panel and just hang out. It's a great time.
yep, gonna be
That's all
great.
I got,
So
sir. Anything else you want to add? Anything from the store? Anything there? No, all good. I
no,
mean,
I mean
I think we've done our hour.
my noisy neighbor is going to be gone. He's officially gone
Well, that's good. So one less stress.
as of Sunday. He'll be officially
Good.
out of here.
Good. So
And
so
I'm in
so
negotiations with
so
the
WWE,
property manager.
you won that war, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in negotiations with the property manager right now to expand my store to take over that store.
Yeah, I can't wait to get
So
down there again. It's been a year and a bit, and you've greatly expanded.
you can't even believe what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
store looks like from a year
No,
last time. Oh my
I'll
God.
probably not this year because we've got the national and some other things maybe happening before the year's up, but maybe in 2025 I'll come down for a weekend again and hang out with you.
Got some big plans in 2025
I know,
beyond the store.
I know, but we're not there yet.
So we're not there yet, but
Yeah, but we're getting there.
I gotta wait till the middle of next month before I can start pulling some triggers on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So the only thing I have right now is one thing done, but that's it. But yeah, so everything's been pretty good over here, other than the weather, it's blistering
Yeah, it's
hot.
been hot.
But other than that, nothing else going on, man. So just
All right.
cards keep on trading.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm glad that we were able to get this done and we'll get it out before the holidays. Thanks everyone out there. Happy 4th of July to everybody. If you're a soccer fan like me, hope you're enjoying the Euro. Go England. Um, Oilers didn't win the Stanley Cup. That kind of sucked, but that's okay.
Close,
Florida.
close.
And last thing, I watched the debate last night.
Let's
I
not
got,
talk about it. Let's not talk
you
about
don't want to sign off with me saying how happy I am to live in Canada.
it. No, I don't.
And our guy up here is just a bigger mess. Trust me. But
We like to keep
I've never. I have to say, like, I was watching last night, and then I went onto Twitter to read the comments, and I've never laughed my ass off so hard in my life. I gotta say, it was the most
yeah.
entertaining night of politics I've ever experienced.
So yeah, we like to keep politics out of our shows here. So
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to
yeah.
break a law there, but I just had to do it.
Yeah, with that, then I guess
We're done. Tony,
we'll
nice
do
seeing
a,
you. See you in a few weeks' time.
well, maybe. And then we'll be doing another quarterly one, and we'll see you in about 3 months for that one.
Yeah,
But until
that's
then,
it.
guys, we'll be out of here. Be sure to make sure you like, comment, follow us both on, if you don't know where to find us by now, I mean,
Yeah,
we've
I'm
got
not
some
even
issues,
gonna
but
tell you.
all that stuff's going to be inside the show notes anyway. So, give us a follow. There's always good information coming out at all times. We try to stay on top of things. Thank God for the Brotherhood for independent stuff. Thank God for the Adam Gelman, Ryan Shears for all the new release stuff coming out from Panini. Thanks everybody, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah, happy collecting, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Out.